So I just want to tell you about my experience. I don't have all the answers. I don't have it all figured out, but what I can tell you that no one can take from me is my experience. I've experienced two divisions of gang stalking. One that is focused on your mind, street theater, mirroring, anything that would cast a spell or a hypnosis over your mind. That is one division of gang stalking. And there's another division of gang stalking. That is the physical harassment of other people. Now, I've come a long way in my first experience, the gang stalking hypnosis. I've experienced that to a high degree, and glory to God, I've been able to move on from that. I would never say I'm completely cured, just like a can of Clorox wipes would never say it kills 100%, but I've overcome it to a good degree because I know what I went through before and I know what it looks like now. But I have a different division of gang stalking, and that is the physical harassment. The physical harassment that comes from the people, the CBAs, the community-based agents that are scattered in these different institutions, corporations, and entities. They want to make our lives tedious. They put in the wrong prescription, they filed the wrong something. Whatever it is, it's not the fault of yours. It's their fault. But it's their fault, and you gotta pay for that. Like, their stories, but I want to break down these two divisions by my own experience. If I didn't have my own experience, there would be no TI channel. So my very first video was the street theater video. That was a couple years ago. To this day, it is the most viewed episode on my channel. I want to talk about how I overcame that stuff because I used to entertain that. I used to entertain it thinking there was something talking back to me. I mean, I could look back and be like, I think there was someone or something talking to me. They were definitely hidden, and they were hidden in front of people that were standing right next to me. Because I had all that going on, I came in as a new believer in Jesus, still feeling like I was being talked to, but yet I was so much on fire for God. I used to minister to anybody and everybody, people I see walking past through the street. I used to minister to gang stalkers, and even though I kind of felt they weren't genuine in their conversations with me, I gave that attempt because the Bible told me to love your neighbor as yourself. There was a point as a new believer that I was not able to hold a job, and most of that is because I used to try to minister to people. I used to try to minister to my coworkers and my customers while I was on the clock. And a lot of times too, it was always gang stalking tactics. If I hear ticks in the wall at work and it's like, oh, God, is that you? And it's like all of a sudden the sun rays shining through the window, the glare of the window shining on somebody. Oh, God, you want me to go speak to that person over there? What do you want me to say, God? I didn't really understand what I was doing, but I had faith that God was going to take care of me, and next thing I know, I lose my job. I didn't really understand what I was doing, but I thought it was important to spread the message of the gospel. There was a point in my time that if I was driving on the freeway, every single car I saw with hazards on parked along the side of the road, I would stop and see, you need help? The last time I did that religiously, I pulled over behind a car that had his hazards on. I get out of the car, I'm walking on the shoulder and toward the passenger side, and I peek in the car. Hey, you need some help? You wanna know what he told me? He said, oh, no, I was just trying to figure out how to turn off these hazard lights. Thank you. And he drives off. And I'm standing there like, yeah, there goes another one. I stopped doing it after that. To this day, that's probably the last person I pulled over to see if they needed help. But anyways, I didn't tell people my situation as a TI. And there were times when I did try, people wouldn't understand anyways. And so when I surrendered, and after I was transparent of my gang stalking to my pastor and about how I was losing jobs because I gotta be the light, people are going to hell and they need to know about Jesus, my pastor stopped me and he gave me a word. He gave me a word out of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 that literally helped me overcome and conquer the distractions of street theater and subliminal messages and stuff like that. I'll share it with you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 9. Now as to the love of the brethren, you have no need for anyone to write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. For indeed you do practice it toward all the brethren who are in all Macedonia, but we urge you, brethren, to excel still more. He's basically saying, you guys exercise love. You don't need me to explain to you that you need to love each other, because you guys already do that, but I urge you to excel even beyond that. Verse 11, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life and attend to your own business and work with your hands, just as we commanded you, so that you will behave properly toward outsiders and not be in need. Basically, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. I always made it my ambition to speak and to minister and to help, but the Apostle Paul here says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. Attend to your own business and work with your hands. Go to work and mind your own business. Don't worry about anybody else. Live as a good example to those who are on the outside. Work as if you're working for Jesus. Behave properly and don't be in need of anything. And I began to practice that. It was necessary if I was going to conquer the distractions of street theater, because I was so used to it for so long. It came natural for me to look for signs and look for things. So I stopped talking to people. I stopped acting like I went to work to make friends. Go to work so I could eat. The Bible says if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. So I began to put my head down and I began to put earbuds in my ears. And the only time I ever had anything to say to anybody, it was in reference to what was relevant to the job, so that when someone wanted my attention that wasn't job related, it was training me to catch that, like, wait a minute, what does that have to do with anything? And I've had to tell that to people. I was in the process of closing that door. I'm not going to let these distractions take me from doing what I gotta do. And so I've had attempts by the gang stalkers to come to me and try to wedge that door open by trying to start some goofy conversation that was not necessary or relevant to the job. And I'd say, what does that have to do with the job? That's not my business. I'd be bold. I'd be bold with my words. I'd speak with authority. I'd own what I was saying and say, dude, no. And you kind of see their faces get distorted, like it wasn't the response they were expecting or hoping for. And after a long practice of that, my distractions for street theater began to fizzle out. I began to wear earbuds when I was grocery shopping. Like, dude, I don't want to talk to nobody, because before that, random people would just start conversating with me. I always thought it was part of this hidden show, but when I began to put my earbuds in and seek what was relevant to the moment, they lost that power, and I give glory to God for that, because the wisdom that came from that came from 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, and I probably was living like that for about almost a good year, almost 6 months, 9 months. I remember there was a point in my life I said, I might not need these earbuds anymore. So the day that I did take them out, I was like, I think I'm ready. Let's just give it a shot. Let's just see. If anyone wants to walk up to me with a goofy conversation, they're going right back in. It's that simple. But it stopped. Everyone seemed normal again. There have been times, even this past year, that a conversation would commonly distract me. Like, oh, look, oh my gosh, like something's happening. Like, normally, that's how it would have me. But I noticed, like, I'm not looking from inside the box. I'm looking from outside the box. And I'm like, oh, that's a trip. Yeah, I see how that normally would have had me, but it doesn't no more, and it just rolls off my back, and I go about my business. I pay for my gas, or I do this and that. The funny thing is, I say I pay for my gas because it actually happened at a gas station. So, I don't have all the answers. All I have is my experience. If you're a TI and you're going through it, we're relatable. We see eye to eye. We know exactly what we're talking about. It's like that gelling commercial. Remember that gelling commercial? Yeah, he's gelling. I'm gelling. You gelling. We gelling. There's this guy who says, I'm gelling. He's not gelling. He's so not gelling. It's like you could tell. You could tell. You're relatable. No one can come in here and fake it. You know what's up. I know what's up. Stay strong, man, because we going through this, and all I have is my experience. You know, if you're doing good and you're a TI, I encourage you to start a channel. Give us your experience. People need to hear it. People are struggling. People are suffering. I've seen TI videos. People are wigging out, and they don't have an answer. They need an answer. They need help. We need help. I need help. I need prayer. I need all that stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't. Man, I'm still in this flesh. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not in any competition with anyone who has a TI channel. We're all in this together. I'm not in it for money. I'm not in it for clicks. But anyhow, this is the aspect of the mind control division. We'll see you in the next one.